At 24 minutes past 2, welcome. Now, you know how much we care about the climate crisis on the afternoon show. But there's some news out today that puts North Norfolk coast at the heart of the fight back. 4 million oysters are to be introduced to the seas, and it will become the largest oyster reef restorational project. It's all in the hope that they'll restore marine ecosystems. Oyster Heaven is the organisation behind this. I spoke to George Birch, the founder, a little earlier, and asked him what they did, because to me, Oyster Heaven sounds like a lovely seafood restaurant.
Yes, the name is quite funny, but I do think it helps us stand out. There are lots of these sort of generic names at the moment, and I thought Oyster Heaven was quite funny at the start. But yeah, we do ocean restoration and specifically oyster reef restoration. And I think the difference between what we're doing and maybe other organizations in the same space is we're trying to make it really big. We know that if you're trying to do reforestation, for example, you can't just put in 10 trees and expect your rainforest to come back. You need to be putting in thousands or tens of thousands. And it's the same with oysters. If you want to get oyster restoration to work, you need to be working in the millions. And so it's very important that we can hit this critical mass, this 4 million oyster minimum, which is what we're putting in Norfolk. And this is possible with our lovely partnership with Purina, who's managing to support us in this huge project, and the Norfolk Seaweed Company, who are our people on the ground there, who are working with the local coastal seaweed company to help us put these oysters in.
So is it that we just love oysters and it's nice to have them on our coasts? So it's more like making sure that we have plenty and they're not depleted? Or are they an important part of the ecosystem and we need them to keep our marine life healthy and our coasts healthy?
Yeah, so we had a very big taste for them over the last few hundred years. And they actually used to be the most common form of marine protein. And one of my most horrifying facts is in 1864, the peak oyster harvest in Europe, a population of 2 million people in London ate almost 1 billion oysters in a year. It was like 400 and something per person per year. And we ate them to extinction. And we have these incredible maps from around that time that showed that the Dutch North Sea was 20-30% oyster reefs and probably similar amounts for the rest of northern coastal Europe. And yeah, we ate them to extinction. But as you say, you know, this is not just a culinary loss, but it's a very practical one as well.
What are you doing then, and why the North Norfolk coast? Are you literally getting a load of oysters and putting them off the sea? I feel like it's going to be more technical than that.
So oysters, unlike clams or scallops, can't swim in the water. They're not mobile and they can't move through the sediment. So you need to put oysters onto a hard surface. And we use these special clay bricks that we call the mother reef. And we settle baby oysters on them and then drop these clay reefs into the sea. And these reefs act as a scaffolding so that the oysters can form these old 3D structures. They used to be just like coral reefs. And these structures are homes for legions of different types of fish, crab, lobster. Many of them end up on our plate, which is a big reason why Purina is involved, because it ends up on our pets' plates. And oysters are these also incredible water filtration systems. So one oyster can filter 200 litres of water a day. And if you imagine trillions of oysters like that doing it to the North Sea, it's not surprising that there are historical accounts of the North Sea being clear and you could see the bottom of it, not, well, maybe a couple of hundred years ago. There's just one final benefit, which is really important to mention, which is for the Norfolk Society. And we only work with local fishing communities or local people who are working in the water. And what we want to make sure is that they've got new work working in the space that they're used to, using their experience, hardware, knowledge, love of the water, and making sure that they've got a new type of revenue that can supplement their traditional fishing activities or aquaculture activities. So hopefully the North Norfolk coastline is going to have big benefits to the economies ultimately as well.
So when will we see all this happen? Will it be something that we notice in a year? Will it be something that we notice in 10 years?
So this is our third project. So we're also working with Purina in the Netherlands. We're also doing a project in Belgium. But our dream is to start these nodes of 4 million oysters all along the UK coastline. So this project will just be the first, and then you'll see them dotting up and starting to spread between each other. The 4 million oysters that we put in will just hopefully be the mums and dads for the regenerated oysters. Every oyster over a lifetime that survives to adulthood can have 50,000 children. So if we get the right environment, it's crazy. 50,000 children that survive to adulthood, they have a lot more children than that. Each mum has like a million eggs every summer, and about 500,000 of them turn into babies, but most of them don't make it, unfortunately.
Isn't that fascinating? That's George Birch there, the founder of Oyster Heaven.